I'm going to clock my 12,500 steps for the day like Mr. Beast. I am near the Kallang MRT station. There's this empty field. Alright, apologies for the shaky cam. I do not have a gimbal. It's almost daybreak. Oh, what's that? Oh my, there's a parcel. There's a parcel and it looks like I've got to unbox it at home.
Do a business that I really enjoy instead of working as an engineer, which I graduated from, which wasn't very exciting to.
This is the Zelos Aurora Titanium 42mm with the gold carbon dowel on my 6 1/4 inch wrist. It's supposed to have a 49mm lug to lug dimension. Feels a bit obtrusive, but nothing protruding out from my quaint size wrist. Alright, just do a side roll. I've got to resize the bracelet. Fortunately, they use screw pins. I'll remove the stickers off screen and wear it for a few days before giving you my honest opinion. I have two complaints with the watch. The first one is a minor logistic complaint, is that I felt that the watch took a bit too long to arrive to me in Singapore. I know that there usually is a 2 to 3 weeks wait time for the watch to be delivered. However, I was a bit livid to find out that the customers in US, they got their watches on the 21st of July, whereas I in Singapore got the watch on the 25th of July. I think the other customers in Singapore got the watches around 25th or 26th of July, judging by the listings on Carousel. My main complaint, however, is with the dial. Alright, I am told about the step down minute track, but once you see the watch under direct sunlight, harsh direct sunlight, you see that there is two distinct layers on the watch, the dial layer and the step down minute track. So in terms of feelings, we talk about feelings, it feels that there was a poor estimate in how much dial was needed for the base of the watch. I know that Zelos intended for it to be as such. They intended for it to be a step down minute track for all the watches for this line. But when you see it in person, it really just gives you the feeling, oh my, they didn't have enough material for the dial. Okay, I think several factors are at play. Firstly, when you watch the review, see the renderings, right, obviously it's going to come across flat. The difference between the dial and the step down mini track is not going to be played up. That's part one. Part two, the step down minute track is not in the same blackness or darkness as the black or darkness of the gold carbon dial. You can see it for yourself. If it were of the same degree of blackness as it is, I don't think I will feel as such, I hope. And also for the fact that it is coated with a layer of, it is coated with some coating that has a sheen on the dial. So when the harsh sunlight strikes the dial, it brings the dial up. It brings the dial up, and then you feel that there isn't a sense of aesthetic integration. All right. So that is how I feel. I think to be fair to Zelos, they intended for it to be as such. However, when you see it for yourself, you don't feel so good about it. They could have executed it like they did in the Comet, where you know the dial covered the base of the watch entirely, or they could have done it like the Swordfish, where the is, you know, they cut it out correctly, and then they also, I think they have a chapter ring, so it doesn't make it look, you know, somewhat of a amateurish execution. Otherwise, for $630, you are getting a very good watch. The bracelet is fantastic, much better than all the bracelets that I have in my collection, and that says a lot about my collection actually. The micro adjust on the watch is very good. You know, I love it actually. There's 6 positions of micro adjust for up to 8.1 or 8.5 mm of extension. All right, that's equivalent to almost 1 link worth of extension. It's 42 mm. I knew it was a big boy. I knew it was going to be a big boy, and thankfully, you know, it was in titanium. All right, so you know, it's going to come in at about 140 grams on my wrist. If it were in stainless steel, it would be almost 200 grams or a slab of steak on my tiny 6 1/4 inch wrist. And the loom, everyone speaks positively about the loom, and they even loom the crown, and they signed the crown for a screw down crown. All right, so it is very brave of Zelos. All right, what I mean by brave is that you know, if you tighten the crown and the logo doesn't align, there will be complaints. And at least fortunately for me, when I tighten the crown to minimal resistance, all this, you know, I've over tightened, you notice that the Z is on the Z is perfectly aligned on the crown, all right, with the rest of the watch. There are some minor issues. I think most notably the lux. I think it could have done with an additional beveling. All right, I think other reviewers have said that it is those lux are very brutalist in design, and I somewhat agree with them. I think they could have done with an additional bevel, so that you make the, you know, the taper more gradual, melding with the wrist. I think it's something that I've mentioned in my first impressions. But that would entail loss of material as well as additional man hours. So that would have brought up the cost. And you know, the styling, you know, all these are not deal breakers. All right, the dial was the deal breaker for me, but all these little things that I'm just telling you are all the minor things that could be, you know, improved upon. Styling also not a deal breaker for me. A field watch without Arabic numerals. Wow. I mean, I wasn't there for the Arabic numerals. Actually, I wanted a simple 3-hander, but some have pointed out that for field watch, it should have, you know, Arabic numerals all around. So I let Zelos to decide on this. I do feel that the styling is somewhat incongruous. If you can see the buckle, I know is the sign Zelos there, but it feels like a, you know, the overhead view of the race car from the Herbie Goes to Monte Carlo day. All right, so that's all for me at the moment. I would say that for $630, the competition for these Zelos really comes from the Citizen Echo drives, as well as other micro brands. I will still keep the watch in my collection, and maybe I will wear the watch on those days where the sunlight isn't that harsh. All right, so sorry for the wait. I've not been feeling too great for the past 3 days. And let me know what you think. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.